Did he turn the heat up? This is the temperature Tammy likes in the house in the summertime. In the 60s. All right. So I'll take a songbook and turn to page 135. Come and dine. Okay. Page 135. Come and dine. Got it? Page 135. Here we go. Jesus has a table spread where the saints of God are fed. He invites his chosen people, come and dine. With his manna he doth feed and supplies our every need. Oh, 'tis sweet to sup with Jesus all the time. Come and dine, the Master calleth, come and dine. You may feast at Jesus' table all the time. He who fed the multitude turned the water into wine. To the hungry calleth now, come and dine. The last verse. Soon the Lamb will take his bride to be ever at his side. All the host of heaven will assembled be. Oh, 'twill be a glorious sight. All the saints in spotless white, and with Jesus they will feast eternally. Come and dine, the Master calleth, come and dine. You may feast at Jesus' table all the time. He who fed the multitude turned the water into wine. To the hungry calleth now, come and dine. Okay, anybody got a favorite song you want to sing? Okay, look, you got 4 guys in here. You guys can sing a quartet, and you can practice tonight and get up here on Sunday morning, and it'd be all over the internet. All your friends, all your high school friends will be on the internet. Hey, look at this. Okay.
No hold breath, John.
Okay. Rebecca was little, about 2 years old maybe, and I was listening to a radio station, and it was a preacher that I wanted to listen to. It was really good, and we were working. I remember what we were doing. We were working on the house. We put the addition on the back of the house, and the music on that station was really good, and the preaching on that station was 90.5 FM. That's what I was listening to, and then I was just working on the house, wasn't paying attention to it. And then the music changed. And it sounded like a rescue mission. I mean, it sounded really bad. Okay, about that time, the door opened, and my brother walked in with a friend of his. Someone he hadn't seen since high school, and someone he had, just had run into and brought him home. And I'm like, and he said, "This is kind of like music John listens to. He likes going to rescue missions. It sounds terrible." So, hey, thanks, bro. So anyway, all right. Anybody got prayer requests, spoken requests, or unspoken requests? Okay. She has a coronavirus or flu virus? Coronavirus. Okay. Your sister-in-law. Okay. All right. Mom and sister-in-law. All right. Anybody else? Right. Okay. Pray for Gary. He or Shannon was going to have supposed to have back surgery. They went in for pre-op tests. And he has to have a heart cath on Friday. So there's a couple serious blockages. I think they can take care of with that without having surgery. So hopefully, pray that Friday goes well with him with that procedure. So he can have his back surgery. Because he's been in a lot of pain for about 2 years, but he changed jobs and didn't have time to take off after surgery. All right. Anybody else? All right, Charlie, we leave some prayer. Amen. I want to remind you, these microphones are on. And someone texted me at church this morning. They really enjoyed the fact that they could hear you all's questions and comments from Sunday school class. So those are on. And so we're in the book of Nehemiah, chapter 4. Nehemiah, chapter 4. You can find it. Go to Psalms, then go back a couple of books. Job, Ezra, Esther, Nehemiah. Nehemiah chapter 4 is where we're going. So if you have questions and comments once we get into the subject, I guess if you have questions and comments on a different subject, unrelated subject, you can ask those questions, but I don't know how quick I can answer stuff. I used to not answer any questions right away. I'll say, I'll get back with you, I'll get back with you, I'll get back with you. But after 25 years of doing that, and most often I can come up with an answer. A preacher Dave used to say he'd come up with an answer, even if it wasn't the right answer, he'd come up with an answer. Okay? Okay. Nehemiah chapter 4. We'll review just a moment. Nehemiah was the king's cupbearer, the king of Persia. He heard about Jerusalem being destroyed. He wanted the wall being destroyed. Ezra had already gone back to rebuild the temple. So he made a petition to the king that he could go back to Jerusalem to rebuild the walls around the city. Okay, and this is not a big wall. I was surprised once I read a little bit. It is only about, get this right, numbers right. It's only about 400 yards wide by 1,000 yards or so long, but it's not really squared. It is not very. You can fit all of the city between here and the high school. Okay, probably, matter of fact, you can fit all of the city probably between here and 7-Eleven. I mean, so it is not a big wall. The wall around the city of Jerusalem was built larger later and at different times, but at this time, what he builds is not a really big place. It's just for the people that are living there. And last week we made emphasis that it's for the families that are there for their protection. Okay. So Nehemiah goes there. They start the work. Chapter 3, it just kind of lists all the families and where everyone's job is going to be to build the wall. And they have a mind to work. They're going to work on it as hard as they can. Okay. Chapter 4, verse 1. And we'll read the first 3 or 4 verses. Don't keep your Bibles open. Okay. But it came to pass when Sanballat heard that we built the wall, he was wroth and took great indignation and mocked the Jews. He spake before his brethren and the army of Samaria and said, what do these people Jews? Will they fortify themselves? Will they sacrifice? Will they make an end in the day? Will they revive the stones out of the heaps of the rubbish which are burned? Now Tobiah the Ammonite was by him, and he said, even that which they build, if a fox go up, he shall break down their stone wall. Stop reading right there. Okay. I want to talk tonight about ridicule. Okay. Time when I've had this conversation, being a youth pastor for 25 years, there are some people that I'll use the term ridicule or intimidation. They lead since we just have men in the room tonight, there are some men that lead their home by intimidation. They lead their home by ridicule. They're critical of the kids all the time. They never get on. I mean, they never say anything about them doing the right thing. They're just constantly on them for doing the wrong thing. There's a lot of kids that we watch that grew up in church that once they become adults, didn't want anything to do with church because all at church meant was rules and ridicule and criticism from their parents. And that's all the church was to them. And they hated the idea of being. So as soon as they graduate high school, there's been kids that walk across that platform. We give them a new Bible. We're glad for them. They've been here all their life, and they've been here for 5 years, whatever time period, and we're tickled for them to graduate high school, but they never walk back in those doors. Okay? A lot of it comes back to ridicule. Someone is critical of them all the time. But in this situation, Nehemiah is going to build the wall around the city. He's got a letter from the king to come, king of Persia to come. He's got all the authority in the world to do what he's doing. And the people that are going to attack him, they're going to use other ways to attack him. They're going to physically try to invade the city later on. But the first thing they're going to try is ridicule. And they say, man, if a fox jumps over that wall, it's going to break it down. What you're doing is nothing. Will they make an end in the day? You guys are working so hard. Let me slow down. You guys are working so hard, you think you're going to get this wall finished in a day's time? You think we're going to do it all in a day? Or what you're building with is used up stone that was tore down before. If you look at cities, if you look at Berlin or someplace, or there was someplace that was bombed, we see from wartime where places were bombed, all the rubbish is on the ground. That's what the Jews are using to build the walls with. The rubbish the buildings that are torn down, they're getting those blocks, those not cinder blocks, not bricks, they're stones. They're putting mortar on them and trying to get them back in place. And for the people that are ridiculing them, the people the Samaritans that hate them, That's nothing, man. You can't build like that. And the Jews are working. They're working as if they get it done in 52 days. But they're working like it's like their life depends on it. And these Samaritans, these people that hate them, that live around them, when the Jews left, were taken from Jerusalem to go to Babylon, and now this come back 70 years later, the people that inhabited the city and inhabited the areas around it, because again, it's just a small place, that small area, what they were building as a city. The people that inhabit all the way around them hate them with a passion, because they were gone for 70 years. Now they've come back and they're trying to build the city back. It's like if people were, they left here for 70 years and they come back and say, no, we're going to build right here now, okay? But you haven't been here, okay? All right. So what are you doing? What you're doing amounts to nothing, okay? You're building out of rubbish. The fox could tear it down. But Nehemiah doesn't respond to his critics at all, okay? If you respond, okay, I'll use politics for a few minutes. We have had presidents in the past that when ridicule came to them from the press or from their opposition, the opposition party, whatever it is, when the ridicule came, they didn't say a word. Okay, a couple of them didn't say anything. President Trump, before the words get out of their mouth, these Texans up there are posting it, right? I mean, something. Please don't post that. Don't. Yeah, some of it's not good, but he responds immediately, right? Nehemiah didn't. Okay, look at verse 4. Nehemiah, when they ridicule him, his first words are, "Hear, O God, for we are despised, and turn their reproach upon their own head, and give them for a prey to the land of captivity, and cover not their iniquity." They won't know how stupid these people are. And let not their sin be blotted out from before thee. God, we want you to judge our enemies. There's a couple of Psalms that are written this way. We want you to judge them, for they have provoked thee to anger before the builders. Nehemiah turned it back this way, and he said, hey, look, God, you told us to come do this, and these people be critical of us, so they want to see their sin. And we don't want you to forgive them of their sin. We want you to remember always how bad these people were. A couple of Psalms are written this way. David had written this same way. We want you to always remember what they've done. We don't want you to forgive them, or we don't want anything to get past. Okay? Now, ridicule and sarcasm has always been a tool the devil's used. What's the first words the devil said in the Bible? Anybody know? Chronological. All back to Genesis. What's the first thing he said? He doubted God's word. He made Eve doubt. Hath God said? Okay? He's got a critical spirit from day one. Okay? If you read over in Isaiah, Lucifer, the devil, wanted to exalt himself above the angels and be equal with God. Okay? He didn't want God telling him what to do anymore. But he did that, and so his first words that was his rebellion in heaven, but his first words on earth were speaking to Eve, hath God said. When cause doubt, okay? Most people that ridicule you, either they want others to doubt you or they want you to doubt you, okay? You ever do something, you're absolutely positively sure you're doing the right thing, and someone says something that makes you question it. You ever do that? Okay? You're around somebody all the time that questions everything you do all the time. I mean, every move all the time. And I can't take it. There's people that I've worked with in the past that when they walk in that door, I got to walk out that door because I can't take the criticism. Okay, the ridicule, because it comes all the time. Okay, now if someone tells me I'm doing something wrong, I can take that. Okay, if someone says, hey, your tie's crooked, straighten up the tie. Okay. Now, you got a cliffhanger? I want somebody to let me know. I got a cliffhanger. Okay, get that out there. Okay? Okay. But someone's just critical all the time. Nehemiah's response, pray. And what else did he do? Okay? Verse 6, it says, So we built the wall, and all the wall was joined together unto half thereof, for the people had a mind to work. So he said, so here's Nehemiah's response. Okay, when they were critical of me, I'm going to ask God to judge them, and I'm doing what you asked me to do, reminding God what he asked us to do. I'm doing what you wanted me to do. Judge them for what they're doing, and let's go to work. Because Sanballat and Tobiah wanted Nehemiah and his men to stop building the wall. Okay, if we took if you read through chapter 3, and I didn't read through this and count these up, but if you had each family building a section of the wall, and you're building a place that's from 400 yards wide and 1,000 yards long, we'll say from here to 7-Eleven or something like that,
and each family is building, and we're going to live within that compound, okay, for a while. Our fields are outside the compound, but for a while we're building inside the compound. If each family is building, if you can get one or two to quit, you'll defeat the whole purpose. Okay? But each family has their section, maybe as wide as this room, maybe wide this way. And each family is building their wall where they're supposed to be built. Okay? If you can criticize people enough, ridicule people enough, they'll quit. Okay? In church for the last 40 years, I've seen this happen. People doing the very best. They're dead best. Okay? It's all they have to do what they're doing. Okay? Some people like getting up on the platform or singing songs, singing solo like that. Some people are nervous as could be. I've sat over here, and people you think are calm when they're up here singing. They're up here, their knuckles are turning white because they're ripping the pulpit so hard. They're supposed to sing, and that's what they're supposed to be doing. Okay, but and some of them were shaking. I've seen people up here just shaking like a leaf. This part you can't see it because their hands are planted, firmly planted, and they're doing okay. But you know what happens if someone criticizes them? They won't do it again. Okay, we're a church that there was a guy got saved at church, Kingdom Baptist Church, and Tammy and I first got saved. And he had 3 kids. They were all doing well. Him and his wife got saved. They were really doing well. And he'd get up and sing. I thought he had a great voice, but it was a twang in his voice. It was really but he sang from the heart. Okay. Someone stood up one day after the guy had sung, and they had been friends. After that guy sang and sat down, before the preacher got up, someone else stood up to testify. And the brother that stood up and testified said, "I love my brother," blah, 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 bragging on his brother because of the change in that he saw in this man's life when he got saved. He said, "Can't stand to hear him sing because of the voice he has." God never sang solo again. Matter of fact, wasn't long before he started drinking again. He was out of church again. And once you start drinking again, it's easy to get back out of church. He's out of church again. I think him and his wife Brinks got divorced. I haven't seen them. I haven't seen any of the family in 30 years. But it was like cold water poured on the guy because he was on fire. Okay. Nehemiah's response: pray and then get to work. All of life we have, if we pray as if everything depends on God and work as if everything depends on us, then God will give us exactly what we're asking for, or better than what we're asking for. Okay? And look at that verse 7. Read a couple verses. It came to pass that when Sanballat and Tobiah, the Arabians and Ammonites and Ashdodites, heard the walls of Jerusalem were made up, and that the breaches began to be stopped, then they were very wroth, and conspired all of them together to come and fight against Jerusalem and hinder it. Okay, so their next step is not just to ridicule, their next step is to come fight against them. So the threat against the Jews going back to Jerusalem was real. And actually, I think when people have a critical spirit, or people that ridicule others, or whether they do it publicly, privately, however you want to say it, people that do that, their intent is to destroy. Okay? You read through Proverbs, and you'll find this that the wounds go deep down into someone's heart. You can say "I'm sorry" a lot of times, but the wounds go deeper than the words "I'm sorry." Okay, the threat is real. The destruction for Jews. I think also the destruction for our families, your family, our families, and the work is real to protect our families within that wall. The Jews had to have that wall built, and they were getting it built, and they needed that protection inside for their family. I think the work that we do in service for God, it's the most critical of us. The service that we do for God has one main goal, 2 main goals. One is reach the lost people, and 2 is to protect our family, build up walls of protection around our family. I know PR hadn't been teaching because of the COVID thing, but Jonathan, one of the last Sunday school lessons he had was you ask a question, and he gave the response of Lowell and Debbie and their family and his brother-in-law, sister-in-law, and the whole idea of them getting saved was the whole building that wall up around their family, right? He mentioned his 7, which is now 8, well, maybe about the same time Wyatt was born. Okay. Our outreach is to the lost, and our walls to protect our family. I think it's vital. All my life, as a Christian, I faced some ridicule. I understand when people tell me I talk too fast once I get up here because I don't talk that fast. The rest of my life, I don't talk like this. It's different. I don't know what it is. Okay. But I've had people tell me it's a waste of time. Okay. From the time we started this church, it's a waste of time. It's a waste of energy or a waste of money. But it's not a waste for everyone that's gotten saved. It's not a waste for everyone. For every life has been changed in any way for the good. Okay. Someone used the term one time. They said petite. They said my life was petit bourgeois. I don't even know what that means. Okay. I told them it's French. I said, what does that mean? That means life of little importance. Oh. You know what they say, Charlie? Everything you do doesn't matter. You know what that is? That's ridicule. Charlie, as a school teacher, if you do it just to get a paycheck, you'll get your paycheck, right? You get a paycheck, you get summers off, you get retirement. Had a great summer off this year. David Underwood used to say June, July, and August was 3 reasons to become a teacher. But now you had 6 months. Okay. But it was just to get this paycheck. And there's never a time that you look at those kids in your class and say, I'm giving them something that's going to change their life or help them in life. And you are. Okay? If they don't learn from history, they're destined to repeat it, right? If they don't learn from it, they're going to make the same mistakes other people make. So somewhere inside of you says, I got to help this kid or that kid. And there may be 20 kids or 28 kids in the classroom. I may be able to help 2. But I want to help those ones that I can. There will be people that says it doesn't matter. It does. I can't remember I can tell you how many times we went on visitation. Thousands of times. Don't say thousands. I'm going to say 1,000 days I've gone out, knocked on people's doors. Either get kids to come to church, or witnessing to adults, or witnessing kids, or trying to get people back in church. And there's a lot of people would say, it's a waste. Matter of fact, someone in our church, one of our Sunday school teachers one time, here in this church, said, so when it doesn't work. I said, okay, why are we here? Okay? If it doesn't work to take the gospel out to the lost people around us, and they said soul winning does not work, then why are we here? Just so we can show how nice we dressed up on Sunday morning? Okay? Just so we can sit and criticize somebody else for how they didn't dress up on Sunday morning? That's it. They got a whole wrong, they had their own purpose for being here. Let me ask you this. Anybody ridicule you? Tear you up? Does it bother you?
No.
You're Nehemiah's men built their wall despite of. They relished in it. And after, when the Sanballat, Tobiah, and all the armies came back around, they would say, you read a couple chapters over, Nehemiah said, we didn't change our clothes for 52 days except to take them off the washer. Okay? We didn't get undressed. We stayed dressed the entire time to wash up. And some of us was standing there with our trowels while we were laying the rock, laying the stones. And others were standing there with the sword and the shield, protecting those that are working. Okay? Some relish it. Okay? So the person who said my life was petit bourgeois, okay? I wanted to prove them different, right? I wanted to prove them wrong, completely wrong. The people that have said it's not going to amount to anything, okay? Okay, in every area of my life, my job, my sales job. I was with somebody one time, and a guy cussed me. I mean, just, blank, 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 blank. I said, you got me mistaken for somebody else, He said, well, you're a salesman, right? Yeah. I said, well, my job is not just sales, okay? I got great sales. I got a great job. But there's a lot more to it than that, okay? So whatever criticism anybody has of you, you can either say, okay, I'm going to pray about this, as Nehemiah did, and I'm going to do my work anyway. I'm going to do my very best and show them up. Success outweighs criticism all the time. No matter what somebody else says. Someone asked me one time at work, one of the guys that had a real critical spirit a lot of times. He said, how come you don't respond like everyone else does? I've told this before. He said, what are you talking about? He said, if someone said to me what they said to you, I will be riled up and respond back. And I said, I will not give that person that authority over me to control my spirit. Okay? I want my spirit to be controlled by me and yielded to him rather than the idiot that is full of complaints and ridicule controlling me. Right? Because it's right, you relish in it. Right? And you say, look at that person. They can't control me. Okay? Okay. Comments, questions? What's the difference between ridicule and okay, here's the term. Someone said recently, they said, I can take criticism from this person, but I cannot take criticism from this person. And this person that had done that had corrected them, said, I didn't criticize you. I was correcting you on how you were doing something. Okay? There's a world of difference between someone trying to correct you and criticize you. Okay? Or someone that's trying to run down what you're doing. Okay? Coaches do that on ball teams, other than nothing. You can hear it. They're downplaying the other team. Okay. Coaches have a tendency to do it. Well, some coaches run down their own players and thinking that will make them, kick it up a notch. But for most, I used this illustration before. When I was a kid playing ball, I hated somebody to yell at me. My dad never yelled. Okay? I know everyone's different. Dads are different, whatever. But my dad never raised his voice unless I was like 100 yards away at the farm doing something. So he never raised it. So he never yelled. When the coaches yelled at me, I said, just tell me what to do. Okay? I'll do whatever you tell me to do. Just tell me if I'm supposed to take that guy out or that guy. Just tell me that. Don't sit there and call me and tell me how stupid I am. Just tell me what I'm supposed to do. Show me on paper what I'm supposed to do. Tell me what I'm supposed to do. Because I didn't like someone berating me. Okay? It bothered me. Okay? Doesn't mean I was a good football player. It's two nice people. Back up. So back up. Well, you'll be all right. Come on. Oh, carry that one off. We got to take. Okay. All right. Any other comments, questions? Okay, let me ask you this then. Because we all know who belittles us. You belittle anybody else? You ridicule somebody else? You talk down to your wife? You talk down to your kids? You run them down in that way? There was a man in our church here, this is years ago. We were at an outing. There was a bunch of church family. It wasn't a church property. It was just an outing that we were having. Everyone was having fun. And a brother in Christ was standing there telling us how stupid his wife was. And she was standing there. And he was telling us all the stupid stuff that she did, all the stupid mistakes that she had made. Now, people joke about that. I mean, just, I've used Denny and Joey. They joke about stuff all the time. But it's lighthearted and they do it. But I could see this lady kind of cowering by the way that the man was talking. He was berating her, took her down in front of her church family, her friends. Okay? Wasn't long they got divorced. Okay? Shouldn't have happened. He should never have. I wouldn't say yes. She is so stupid. She said yes when you asked her to marry you. That's how stupid she is. I've heard women talk about their husband that way, and I want to say the same thing. I've said it from the pulpit, said it, but not personally to them individually. When the women have talked about how stupid their husband are, they said, yeah, he is so stupid he asked you to marry him. Okay? If you really think he's that dumb, you're really going to run him down that way. Okay? And it bothers me when to hear people talk to others that way. Okay. Questions? Comments? Going once, going twice? Are you that person that berates other people? Only you can answer that. Okay? And a brother in Christ here at this church told me one time, he said, I made a mistake raising my kids. I raised my kids by intimidation, by this ridicule thing. Didn't work. Really didn't work. Okay? I'm going to tell you who it is, no matter who it is. But it bothers me. When I think about that family, I think about what they could have been rather than what they are. Okay? Comments, questions? All right, let's dismiss. Thank you, Lord, for loving us. Thank you for the truth you've given us in your word. Help us be the husbands and fathers that we ought to, and grandfathers that we ought to be. Help us lead our family in the right direction. Help us not be critical or ridicule our kids or run down our wife. Help us learn also how to take it at work or from family or whoever it is, how to take it in the right way, to come back to you like Nehemiah did, to pray and just go to work and outdo everybody else just by working hard. Thank you for loving us. Thank you for the truth you give us in your word. In Jesus' name we ask. Amen. Thank you. Dismiss.